Welcome back to Zero Hedge Mentality. Today, we are bringing you the hard truths we uncovered in the lab about a real estate data monopoly.
Right, a monopoly whose recent financial optical collapse is basically hiding an absolute cash-gushing machine.
Yeah, exactly. We're taking a deep dive into our latest exclusive proprietary research on CoStar Group, ticker CSGP.
We need to unpack this right away because the numbers we pulled from the data are just wild.
Wild is honestly an understatement. Our initial findings show that in 2025, CoStar generated a staggering $3.247 billion in revenue.
$3.2 billion.
Right. But somehow they reported a microscopic $7 million in GAAP net income.
$7 million.
Yeah. I mean, that's their official on-paper profit. So you're telling me they brought in over $3 billion, but on paper they only made $7 million?
It makes no sense.
How does a company that massive show practically zero profit?
Well, look, it looks terrible at first glance, but...
Yet the data tells a different story.
Exactly. If you connect this to the bigger picture, the underlying reality of our data shows this 0% profit margin is a complete accounting illusion because our cash flow analysis reveals a totally different reality. They actually generated a massive $430 million in real, tangible operating cash flow.
That's a huge difference.
It is. That actual spendable profit was just temporarily suppressed by an $850 million discretionary marketing blitz.
Wow.
They basically took a mountain of cash and poured it directly into advertising their residential portal, homes.com, during the Super Bowl and beyond.
But here's where it gets really interesting for you as an investor. You might look at that cash burn and think they're struggling, right?
Sure, that's the natural reaction.
But we unpacked the data we gathered from the field regarding CoStar's core commercial real estate business. And what we found is an unbreachable toll bridge.
Unbreachable.
Yeah, and it's built on brute force data aggregation. We're talking about armies of human researchers calling brokers daily.
People physically flying drones over commercial lots just to update their databases.
Teams digging through obscure municipal records. I mean, it's insane.
It really is. It's not just a neat software platform. It is a proprietary network that commercial brokers simply cannot survive without.
If you want to lease or sell a commercial building, you have to pay the CoStar toll.
And what's fascinating here is the forced capital discipline we recently tracked. You can't just burn hundreds of millions on residential marketing forever without someone noticing.
Right, the big players step in.
Activist investor D.E. Shaw intervened. They actively forced management's hand to stop the bleeding.
And our research verified a massive strategic pivot right there, didn't it?
It did.
Management made a formal commitment to slash that homes.com budget by $300 million in 2026. Plus, they authorized a colossal $1.5 billion share repurchase program.
Buying back that much stock is a massive signal.
Huge signal.
But the most critical data point we pulled from recent SEC filings wasn't just corporate buybacks. For months, we tracked massive insider selling. But then right in the middle of this pivot, CEO Andy Florence stepped in and deployed $2.48 million of his personal capital to buy open market shares.
At an average of $44.52.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing says, I believe in my company, quite like dropping $2.5 million of your own cash. That's not just skin in the game, that's the whole arm.
Totally.
But let's pump the brakes for a second. Our research isn't just about the upside. We also need to look at the structural risks we modeled in the lab.
The kill switches.
Right. What are the kill switches that could blow this up for CoStar?
Well, we identified two major structural risks in our findings. First, if the commercial real estate office sector crashes further, it could finally break their core pricing power.
Because even a monopoly hurts if its customers go bankrupt.
Exactly. Second, if CoStar fails to execute that $300 million expense reduction by Q4 2026.
Especially with all the chaos right now surrounding the National Association of Realtors and Broker Commissions.
Right. If they fail there, this entire residential gamble becomes a permanent sunk cost. It just turns into a value trap.
So what does this all mean for you? Synthesizing our research findings, if you strip away that $850 million they essentially chose to burn on marketing, their real earnings power shines through.
Our normalized valuation puts CoStar at roughly an 18 times EV to EBITDA multiple.
In plain English, you're effectively paying 18 times their actual operating profit.
Which is incredibly low.
Yeah, For a monopoly that just keeps compounding and growing, that presents an incredibly asymmetric, low-risk, high-reward entry point.
And this raises a really important analytical question to leave you with today.
Let's hear it.
If a company can successfully weaponize its commercial monopoly cash flows to endure massive residential losses, essentially outbleeding the B2C incumbents like Zillow, what does that mean for the future of localized AI-driven data ownership once they control the spatial mapping of every single property in America?